and we're not going out and looking for respect. We're here to give respect. And that starts to remember what we actually are under. It's a costume, it's like, what do you call those? The costume party. Like we're at a costume shop and we're wearing layers and layers of egos and personas and costumes and false mustaches and false wigs and cloaks. They're all costumes. There's one real costume. There's one real being underneath the layers of costumes, and that is I'm an eternal spirit soul that's born to give love, that's born to give respect, not expecting anything back. Once I get that respect back, I generally embrace that respect. That becomes another layer of my costume. Oh, look at Raghunath, he's so insightful. Oh, look at Raghunath, he's so intelligent. Look at Raghunath, he's so charismatic. That's just, it just adds to my costume. I'm a servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the devotees is reality.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from beautiful Govardhan Hill in India, this is Wisdom of the Sages, the daily spiritual podcast, with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York City, Kaustubha. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Govardhan Hill, everybody. We made it. This is our happy place, Mara.
It is.
Me and Mara were in our happy world today, Kaustubha.
Oh, good for you. Did you go visit the Misty Bandar? Giriraj Misty Bandar? Does that make it happier?
You just go to our Jati Kurlasi guy, kick off the shoe, close your eyes, and walk through the sands around Govardhan Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Secret inner path. Very special. Then we walked all the way around. We had our Lassi. We met Amarananda, our friend from Bosnia. And then we walked all the way around, and Swami Satchidananda Swami was giving class this morning.
Very nice.
Right in front of Govardhan Hill. We ran into our friend Laura Logic.
Oh, Laura Logic. Good.
Laura Logic was there too. Yeah, she's here. And who else did we run into? And we just decided to just walk on back.
Okay.
It's been a great day. And we're going to have kirtan with Kripa Moya, Narayani. They're somehow here. Kripa Moya's people are here. And
Nice.
We're going to have kirtan tonight for an hour. Yeah.
He's a great kirtan leader, one of the best.
Yeah.
Wait, we're gonna say, no, I'm leading the kirtan.
Well, no, actually, they asked me to lead, and I said, well, no, I'm not going to lead with Kripa Moya there. And they said, no, he lost his voice.
Oh, I
So
see.
am
Okay.
leading. Yeah.
All right.
I sort of lost my voice at that kirtan festival. That was like that
I
pushed
saw
me over
that
the edge.
thing you posted where you're whispering like Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, or something like that.
Well, that
You're
was the
getting down, you
dramatic
started
thing.
getting down
I
low?
was bringing it down. I was bringing it down. Went crazy, bringing it down. They got to build it up, Kaustubha.
Okay.
It's called
That's right.
dynamics. Double F
right.
and pianissimo.
Double F. I don't know anything about it.
It's like, it means double loud, and double P is double soft.
Oh, I see. That's from your violin training.
Yes.
Nice.
All right. Anyway, it's good. And how's it going up there?
It's been really beautiful. Time at the
Kaustubha's up in
Ganga.
Rishikesh.
Yeah, I got a very full schedule because I teach this class in the morning. Great people come in, nice large crowd, great questions, really great attentive people. Then I go down to the Ganga, then lunch, then it's time for, get ready for the podcast, do the podcast. When this is over, I go back and the whole evening kicks off there. And I do like 2 to 3 hours of live Q&A with a microphone and just people just gathering around, It's like nonstop.
You need a
But-
break.
Should I tell you should I share what I shared with you? It was such a moving moment.
Yeah.
So last night I was all set up to do the Q&A, like it's like they got a little tent and a microphone and I'm out
They
there.
give Kaustubha a little microphone. He gets all excited and a bunch of people gather around. It's questions and answers time.
Q&A. And so, and Indra Swami really wanted that he keeps coming by the booth. Okay, we need to get this sign here. We're going to do this. He's really caring and puts a lot of thought in,
Yeah.
He doesn't bring you here and then just like leave you to your, he's like, his heart is invested in it.
Yeah.
and
But
and
generally,
he's
he's not playing center stage with anything. He's like
no,
serving out prasad, watching the
yeah,
kirtan from the back. He's not playing
inspiring
center
everyone.
stage.
You know, it's certainly
Yeah.
it's his vision. It's his vision that's like penetrating the entire thing, and he just kind of moves around, and because he's like a living Bhakti festival,
He
and
is.
no one knows it better than him. No one's more experienced, or, you know. It's just like he's lived it for years and years and years, you know, and he's built an army that's like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
And so he came over and he sat down, and first he was like signing a book for Chapu, and then he was just a few of us were just talking with him, and then a
By the
few
way,
more.
I'm going to interrupt right here because you're talking about his well-oiled machine. He's
Yeah,
got, thousands of students around the world.
sure.
But I was like, well, how do they pick these people to come with you? Can anybody just join? And he goes, no, this is what you would
No.
call, someone told me this. This is what
Yeah.
they call something like SEAL Team 6. This is
Okay.
the best, highly trained disciples of him that can just execute anything. And they've got everyone is completely expert at their field. They've got the best cooks, the best organizers, the best people that just can work together. No problems, no drama. It's just goes off without a hitch. And it's really true.
Well-oiled machine. Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, they're taking this show on the road. They're going to do a
In
sweeping
Italy.
festival through Italy.
Yeah.
Really exciting for that. Okay.
Yeah. So in any case, he came down and sat down with us, and we got it talking, and then more people gathered around, and more people. It was probably it filled up. It was probably like 25 people just all crowd around him. You know, I had a chair. I'm sitting right in front of him. A few other people have chairs, and then everybody else is just crowding around, and he's just sharing beautiful stories from his life. And I said, could you tell that story about how Prabhupada slapped you on the back? He's got this incredible story, right? But he just went back in time way before that. And I'm only going to share one of the stories they told. But the person that originally inspired him in Bhakti, the very first person he really saw, was this incredible figure named Vishnu Swami, right? Who joined the Krishna consciousness movement in 67, and I think he passed away in 75. But there are books written about him where just testimony after testimony about how touched and moved people were by this person. He just seems like the most, he was my guru's best friend. They joined together.
Yeah.
When I was pulling into Vrindavan, when I just went there a couple weeks ago, in the taxi ride in, we were playing these old recordings of him. And I was just floating. It was I was saying, how did such a new devotee, how did such a new devotee chant on such a deep level? So, in any case, this person inspired Indradyumna Swami like his whole life. Like that's why he's doing these festivals. He saw Vishnu Swami doing this kind of thing, and just changed his life. So he saw Vishnu Swami and 3 other sannyasis on the campus at Ann Arbor, Michigan University.
Okay.
And he invited him to come stay in his apartment, and they stayed there for 3 days. And just everything Vishnu Swami did, from just his personal dealings to his chanting to his class that he gave to his cooking, it was just like he was like a loving mother, like a doting father. He was just like, he just touched his heart so deeply. But he saw that he had Vishnu Swami had this little altar. He had a little photograph of Srila Prabhupada. And he had a little silver spoon. And when Indradyumna Swami saw that silver spoon, he turned to Vishnu Swami, who was like, on every level, he was blowing his mind and winning his heart. But he said, why do you have that? Like, you're a monk and you have a silver spoon. Isn't that like materialism? And Vishnu Swami said, well, it was given to me by my guru, Srila Prabhupada. He said, yeah, okay, but whatever, it's like still silver, and, why do you need to have silver? And then Vishnu Swami he just said, I don't think you're ready to really understand this right now. And he said, that didn't satisfy him either. He was just kind of like, he really was almost falling in love with this man, but that was one detail.
Silver spoon showed up.
Well, not that it really deterred him in a big way, but it was the one thing he didn't understand. He just didn't get. Otherwise, everything was super great. So after 3 days, these 4 sannyasis that were staying with Indradyumna Swami, who was a married man at the time, and a young married man at the time, they just all disappeared. And he woke up in the morning and they weren't there. He said Vishnu John Swami would wake him up at 3 a.m. every morning to meditate together. And it was 3 a.m. and he wasn't there. He's like, where'd he go? And he went and looked and they were all gone. And he was like crestfallen. He said he was crestfallen, yeah. And then he saw that Vishnu John Swami had left him that photograph of Prabhupada and that little silver spoon.
He left the silver spoon.
And so then he took that spoon and he said he could feel, first of all, he was heartbroken that he wasn't there anymore. And then he had that spoon and he's like, I want to keep this spoon forever because it's how I remember him. And then he said, and then I understood. I'll leave it there for a second. But in other words, what he understood was what he couldn't understand previously. And this is one of the deepest aspects of Krishna Bhakti, is to understand that in the feelings of separation, there's the deepest connection in love. So Vishnu John Swami was feeling that in separation from Prabhupada, he would keep that little silver spoon. It's not that he was into silver. It's not that he's going to make any money from it. It's because it touched his heart in a way that he felt special emotions, special Krishna Bhakti related emotions. Separation for the devotee of Krishna, is like separation from Krishna. And it's a very special, sublime sentiment that Indradyumna Swami at that point, he was brand new to all of it, brand new. He just couldn't understand it. And that very special understanding, he immediately got it by Vishnu John Swami leaving him that spoon. And he was holding that spoon in his hand and he said, and this is what he said last night, he said, and then I understood. And then he just broke down crying right there on the spot.
He broke down in front of you. He broke down crying, or
in front of us. And as he's telling the story, he said, and then I understood. And he just started crying. And all of us were just sitting there like,
were you crying?
With a lump in our throats.
People crying?
I was just looking at him, but everyone was very moved. I know that. And it was just so heart-touching to see a soft-hearted Vaishnava like this, feeling these beautiful emotions, It was very touching. He continued to tell us stories, and he sat there for 3 hours just with us enthralled.
Wow.
And he also broke down crying again, just said how merciful Krishna is. And we're just like, wow. And, it's not like he's trying to put on a show. He's trying not to cry, I know. And
if you don't know Indradyumna Swami, he is like a quarterback for an NFL football team. He's a big, huge, beautiful.
If Robert Redford, if like Robert
Redford played for the New York Jets or something. Yeah, and he, he's like a king. He's sort of got this vibe of a king has just walked in the room, and he just commands, respect by his life, his lifestyle, his adventurous. I mean, I think I work my butt off a lot. He never stops. I at least take a moment to inhale and exhale and inhale and dive back in. Kaustubha says I'm going crazy. I got to slow down. And I'm saying, no. And then you see someone like him and I'm like, I'm not doing anything. He's got this, he's got a constant, it's a never ending festival.
Never ending festival. Anyway, it was so many, I'll tell you something. When you get around special Vaishnavas, he's a special Vaishnava that's been practicing bhakti since 70, 80, 90, 2010, 20, I don't know, over 50 years. And a person that imbibed a mood to serve, imbibed a mood to help others in a beautiful, festive way. And he's been living that nonstop for all these years. And you see how this process of bhakti works, is that the heart gets very soft and you start to feel very special feelings. And I when you get around devotees like that, it's like you feel like you're in the midst of Sri Chaitanya's pastimes. It feels like every moment is special and special things are happening all the time. He's got that. He's like that. We're all really touched.
We highly recommend his book.
Yeah. He's got a
I
few
think
books.
someone
And
could put that up. He's got a lot of books, but that new one I think is geared for the masses. It came out on a major
but
publisher,
he's
but he
got these
does
other
have a lot
books
of
about
books.
Brinda. You know how the whole thing started? It was Amrita Kishori and Chapu and Dominica. We were all sitting there, and he sat down. And he had these. He started talking about. I said, Dominica's about to go to Vrindavan. Can you share anything with her? And then he told his servant, "I'll go get my books," because he has these new books that are all the Leelas of Vrindavan in them.
Oh yeah.
And then I hadn't looked into those books. He had them on his lap, and he was flipping through them. You could see how beautifully they're done, incredibly beautiful photography, and they're laid out beautifully. And he's sharing all the different holy places in Vrindavan. He's sharing the Leelas there. Really beautiful books. And I just said to him, Maharaj, everything you do so thoughtfully and so tastefully and so beautifully. And then he just said, I'm just trying to follow Srila Prabhupada. Everything Srila Prabhupada did was like that. And then he just started talking about Prabhupada. And that's got us started, right? That was like at 6
Right.
p.m. He didn't stop until after 9 p.m. He just kept
Wow.
going and going and going and going.
So the kirtan was going on simultaneously in the other room.
Yeah. And I
Oh,
was supposed to be doing the
wow.
Q&A right there,
Right. It's
But
okay. That's great.
everyone felt that this is what's supposed to be happening. And he was
Yeah.
he was changing lives there. You could just feel it,
Yeah.
Chapu's
In the
writing
same
stuff.
way,
After,
yeah.
he
The same
took
way
her
Vishnu
aside and
John
started
Swami
speaking to her.
changed his life. He's
Exactly.
talking, he's telling stories. Some kid out there is listening to him talk and like,
Exactly.
I want to be like that.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking we all have the opportunity. You look at, I think I spoke about this on the show not long ago, the lives of Vishnu John Swami, so many lives he touched. And some of those people went on to do really beautiful, important services in different ways. Indra Prabhu was touched by Vishnu John Swami. Dina Bandhu Prabhu, got big inspiration. And Indra Swami. Each, Indra Prabhu was pure kirtan. That was his thing, Dina Bandhu Prabhu was like Krishna's Leelas in Vrindavan. And Indra Swami's thing is like, just constant going out on the streets and bringing festivals to the people, beautiful Bhakti festivals to the people. You get close, look at someone like Janavi. She was close, she got close to Yamuna Devi, and given a gift, given something to share, it's like that, you and I, we've had our gurus, we have like Raghunath Swami, we've had the great fortune to be able to get close to, and they get in your heart and they change your whole life. They change the projection of your whole life.
Mm.
Whew.
Whew. We're one lucky ducks, huh?
Yeah.
We're some lucky ducks.
That's your new statement there, isn't it?
We're some lucky ducks. I've said that for a while, but yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right, my friend.
Should we get into the next chapter here?
Let's get. Yeah.
We start chapter 2.
Did you bathe in the
Canto 9,
Ganga
chapter 2.
today?
Today was the first day I didn't.
Did you bathe in the Ganga?
Yeah. Otherwise, I have been every day.
Good. All right. Let's do this. Narayanam namaskritya naram shaiva devim saraswatim vyasam tatojayam madirayat. Before we start in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, and to Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshu badrishu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati tamashloke bhakti bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmadatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes. With a torchlight of knowledge, I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 2, the dynasties of the sons of Manu.
Yes.
Kaustubha, this is one of those chapters that it's almost like if you were to tell a story it would feel like a little superfluous. Like, why are you telling
it could
us
feel
about?
superfluous. Yeah.
Why are you telling us about
Because
a lineage? What
yeah,
I
it
say
reads.
is because this
Yeah.
stuff is real. That's why, and we're actually trying to actually knit these stories together.
Yes, that's definitely fact. It can seem. I think particularly for our show, because we do a podcast, we don't want to spend a week and a half just reading lists of names. You know, this
Right.
one had 3 sons. This one had, um,
It's like talking about a family tree. It's like boring, but there's a reason why they include these things.
yeah, they're boring maybe to people that don't know these names and what they mean, but on another level, they're doing different things, like they're preserving the Vedic lineages and the historical continuity, because the Srimad Bhagavatam is also known as Bhagavat Purana. It's a Purana. It means, one of the defining features of Puranas is that they're recording these genealogies, the genealogies of kings and the genealogies of sages. And these lists are showing here is the unbroken chain coming down, and within those chains, important devotees and the avatars of Lord Vishnu appear. So it becomes the context in which we study how God appears in this world and how great devotees appear in this world. It rather than just throwing them all up, on the table like in a mess.
Sure.
It's kind of placing them in a historic document, and also the different dharmas for the different ages are playing out in this way, and it's just kind of part of the sacred oral tradition that these were memorized and handed down. It's kind of a way of categorizing it, if because it's an oral tradition. It's kind of a way of categorizing it, that this person had this son, this person had this son, and the way it plays out, and then it goes, and then this person had this son or this daughter, and then that person becomes very important, and so you place, like we were sharing the other day, the story of Ambarish, a great king, becomes highlighted in this chapter, and it's placed within this within this lineage, and of course there's also cross references, because this is just one of the 18 Puranas. And in those other 18 Puranas, although they're not, all these names aren't being elaborated on in this Purana, they may be elaborated on in another Purana. So you're also putting into context with things that you might otherwise read. You get the cross-reference things going on.
You're putting some type of puzzle together almost.
Yeah, exactly. So therefore, we're not going to read every verse in this chapter, probably, because a lot of them are just reading like lists, and to us they won't be as meaningful at this point. But why don't we start? This one starts off with an interesting story, and Raghunath, I don't know if you got a chance to see the interview that I did with Bhakti Vigyan Maharaj the other day. Probably not, because you've been busy.
I didn't. I haven't had a moment. Did you read my book? Did you read my book while you were on it?
What book? You wrote a book?
Yes. There we go. No, I didn't hear your interview. You haven't read my book.
Okay.
All your solo podcasts without me, I'm not listening.
I never listen to any of them.
So you read my book.
All right, but
still can't believe that. Actually, I still can't believe it.
I'm going to read your book, Greg. I love you, and what I've read so far.
I even sent him. I paid out of my pocket. We gifted him an Audible. So, when he's on a train, plane, he's got how many hours did it take to go to New York? 15 hours. Couldn't listen to the.
I'll try to listen to it on the way back.
Okay.
Try to listen on the way back.
Okay.
But there was an interesting statement. I think you would have really related to a lot of the things that Maharaj had to share in that interview.
How was it, by the way, the interview?
It was really fascinating. You take a man with his genius, and he applies it all to one relatively small part of the Bhagavatam, which is Queen Kunti's prayers, which is a fascinating part. Do you realize, Raghunath, that they're the first prayers in the Bhagavatam, Queen Kunti's? You didn't know that, did you?
I could see. I didn't necessarily know that, but yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. And he made this statement that kind of got to the heart of her prayers, but also, in a sense, got to the heart of what we're trying to do in this world. He said, the victim mentality spoils everything. It practically ruins the world. And largely our
Yeah, pretty
mission
amazing,
in
huh?
this world is just to get over our victim mentality. So the point is, in this, the way that this world works is it will bring us suffering. It will definitely, definitely, definitely do that. There's nobody that's not going to suffer in this world. The world is designed to bring suffering, and then that suffering will, he would use words like digest that suffering or process that suffering. It
Sure.
has, that's where we either become bitter, resentful, victim mentality. Yeah,
Better.
yeah.
Bitter or better, buddy.
Bitter or better. Yeah. Oh, nice.
Your
Okay.
choice.
Yeah. Or he said soft-hearted, compassionate, forgiving. That's the choice. And it's interesting because the next two chapters are a lot like this, Raghunath. They're going to be long list of names, but there's two important stories, and in both these stories, they highlight people who, in a sense, were given a
Highly
raw deal.
mistreated.
Given a
Highly
raw deal.
mistreated. Yeah.
Given, given a raw deal, but the way that they respond is a lesson for us. And we need to be careful because a lot of people may be saying, no, you don't let them mistreat you like that. But
Right.
it has something to do with helping us understand how to get over the victim mentality, because we're going to need to see examples of people who transcend if we're going to transcend.
Sure.
And so this first story is a person that's just trying to do good, and in their trying to do good, they made a little mistake, and they got cursed for it, and they kind of just said no problem, and they just used it to springboard into higher levels of awareness. So why don't we go ahead and start with text number 1?
Sukadeva Swami said, that's our narrator, thereafter, when his son Sudyumna had thus gone to the forest to accept the order of Vanaprast, Vaivashvata Manu, being desirous of getting more sons, performed severe austerities on the bank of the Yamuna for 100 years. Then,
This
because
person
of his desire,
this person came to my class today, Raghunath, sat right up front. I said, oh, where are you
yeah,
from? Yamunotri. He grew up in Yamunotri. I was
pretty
like,
cool.
what? Yeah,
Grow up in Yamunotri, the
up
source of
way
the
up in the
Yamuna on this
mountains.
planet.
Source of the Yamuna River, way up in the mountains. Yeah.
Then, because of his desire for sons, the Manu, known as Shraddhadev, worshipped the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, the Lord of the demigods. Thus, he got 10 sons exactly like himself. Among them all, Ikshvaku was the eldest.
So we'll hear
Among
about
these,
Ishvaku in the Bhagavad
yeah,
Gita and so on. But now we're going to hear a short story about this next son.
among them all, Ikshvaku was okay. Among these sons, Prishadra, following the order of the spiritual master, was engaged as a protector of the cows. He would stand all night with a sword to give his cows protection.
Prabhupada gives a little commentary on this.
Okay. Are you going to read it?
Want me to read it? Okay. One who becomes virasana takes the vow to stand all night with a sword and give protection to the cows. Interesting, right? That's one way of being a warrior. Because Prashadra was engaged in this way, it is to be understood that he had no dynasty. We can further understand from this vow accepted by Prasadra how essential it is to protect the cows. Some son of a kshatriya, some son of a kshatriya would take this vow to protect the cows from ferocious animals, even at night. What then is to be said of sending cows? This is Prabhupada. What then is to be said of sending cows to slaughterhouses? He says this is the most sinful activity in human society. Oh, it's heartbreaking.
Prabhupada must have been shocked.
Yeah. Okay, but that's an interesting. Okay, this is what I'm going to do with my life. I'm going to stay up all night and protect the cows.
Sure.
Okay.
People stay up all night for all sorts of stupid things.
That's right.
Stupid reasons. I got into this club tonight. It was great.
You have to have a pretty peaceful mind, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to be alone all the time, just me and the cows, and it's dark out.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be alert, every night. Yeah. They didn't have, you're not listening to a podcast
cameras,
or
yeah.
Well, that, or, you're just, it's you and the darkness and the cows, and the moon.
Sure. And the tigers. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
You know what's eating cows? It's like leopards, tigers, lions.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if you did have a sword, it'd still be a pretty tough fight.
Yes. Okay, well, things are
Once
going
at
to get
night,
exciting quick. Yeah.
once at night, while it was raining, a tiger, see?
Yeah,
The tiger
you know
entered
your
the land
stuff.
of the cowshed. Upon seeing the tiger, all the cows who were lying down got up in fear and scattered here and there on the land. When the very strong tiger seized the cow screamed in distress and fear, and Prashadra, hearing the screaming, immediately followed the sound. He took up the sword, but because the stars were covered by clouds, he mistook the cow for the tiger, and he mistakenly cut the cow's head off with great
Oh,
force. Oh my God.
heartbreaking. Yeah. He was trying to do
Because the
good.
tiger's trying to do good. Because the tiger's ear had been cut by the edge of the sword, the tiger was afraid and fled from the place while bleeding on the street. In the morning, when Prashada, who was quite able to subdue his enemy, saw that he had killed a cow, although at night he thought he had killed a tiger, he was very unhappy. Although Prashadra had committed the sin unknowingly, his family priest, Vashista, cursed him, saying, "In your next life, you shall not be able to become a Kshatriya. Instead, you shall take birth as a Sudra because of killing a cow."
Okay.
So instead of being this powerful king, you have to take birth as a laborer.
Yeah, so now this is a powerful sage, obviously, in Vaishishta. He's legendary. It seems like he hasn't made a great decision here, right? There's something in him that's not quite fully processed yet, something that's not quite fully evolved in him, that he would blame an innocent person like this when he was just putting his own life on the line to do good, you know, and he gave him this curse. Now, you would think that it would be logical that you say, what are you talking about? I'm trying to help here. I didn't see you out there with the sword trying to protect this cow, you know, but let's see how he responds.
When the hero, Prashadra, was thus cursed by his spiritual master, he accepted the curse with folded hands. Then, having controlled his senses, he took the vow of brahmacharya, which is approved by all the great sages. So he became a celibate student. Thereafter,
It sounds
Prashadra,
like the vow of brahmacharya may have even been a way of penance, you know, like I've done a horrible thing. He's thinking like that. There's zero victim mentality in him at all, although he is a victim. But rather than process this like with resentment, he processed it as saying, I feel so bad for what I've done. I'm going to take a vow of brahmacharya. I'm not going to try to enjoy this life as an enjoyer. I'm just going to give my life entirely to God at this point, you know. Okay.
Thereafter, Prashadra gained relief from all responsibilities, became peaceful in mind, and established control over all his senses. Being unaffected by material conditions, being pleased with whatever was available by the grace of the Lord to maintain the body and soul together, and being equal towards everyone, he gave full attention to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, who is the transcendental supersoul, free from material contamination. Thus, Prashadra, fully satisfied in pure knowledge, always keeping his mind on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, achieved pure devotional service to the Lord and began traveling all over the world without affection for material activities, as if he were deaf, dumb, and blind.
Interesting. Right. Like, you know, I think our postmodern minds, the immediate place we snap into is like, but hold it, this was not fair. This was an injustice. He shouldn't tolerate that. He should stand up for himself, blah, 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 blah. Let's just put all that aside for a second and try to understand the message here, right? That he was, in one sense, falsely accused or falsely convicted, in a sense. He didn't let it get him down for a moment. He had some kind of deep humility in him, and he used that opportunity to say, let me live this simple life of a brahmachari. Let me dedicate my life to God. And look what he achieved. It said he became peaceful in mind. He established control over his senses. He became unaffected by material conditions. Now listen, being pleased with whatever was available by the grace of the Lord to maintain body and soul together. That's called simplicity, right? Contentment.
Mhm.
He's living a simple life and being equal to everyone. He's very kind. He's not, he this is he got the mentality of a yogi. He got the mindset of a yogi very deeply rather than embrace a type of bitterness in his mind and heart, which would have hardened him and warped him.
Sure.
He became softer and sweeter and more beautiful, and he kind of blossomed as a human being. And what it did was it gave him that peaceful disposition of kindness and simplicity that gave him the ability. Then it said he gave full attention to the Supreme Personality of God. Vasudeva, most of us aren't capable of giving full attention to God because our minds are so disturbed. He had a peaceful, beautiful
Well,
mind.
there's something to be said about accepting and embracing a philosophy that everything is just.
Yeah.
Especially when it happens to us.
When it
Happens to others, we're concerned. We're concerned about the pain of others. But when it happens to us, we accept, you know what? I must have done something somewhere down the line of eternity for me to get what I got. And just to embrace that relieves some type of, I can't resent or blame my way to a better tomorrow, right? If I'm going to live in resentment, live in blame, where's my serenity? Where's my peace? Where's my happiness? And there's something very incredible about just acceptance. Oh, okay. That's what I'm going to get. Okay. Just like, once you have that acceptance, it's almost as if you're free. Your mind becomes free. Your mind becomes peaceful.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And that mind, the peaceful mind allowed him to become fully absorbed in thinking of God, fully absorbed in bhakti.
It's that circle of control or the circle of influence. There's certain things that are just out of your control, and it happens. And what are you going to do about it? You resent the state, you resent the government, you resent your family, you resent your relatives, you resent the economy, or you just let that go with acceptance and work on the things that you can control. What could he control? He can control how he reacts. And I think both you and I have been positions where because back in the old days of being devotees, and especially when we were monks, when you were a monk back in the day, you were signing up for, I live to be corrected on a regular basis. Basically, you wake up and it was almost like being in the Marines. I think
traditionally
the
the rule
being in the Navy,
the rule in the Brahmacharya ashram in the Chowpatty temple was the day you say no is the day you pack your bags and go. It's just like
the day you say no is the day that you go. And but it's one of those things. You're there just to be corrected. Now, both of us, I know for a fact, have been like even sharply corrected, and if not chastised for something that we know we didn't do.
Raghunath, it's so funny that you're saying
the person who's correcting us is actually wrong.
Yeah.
But there was no, and all you could do is you fold your hands and say, okay, thank you. And that's how we were trained. And we weren't the lesser man for doing that.
That's right. It didn't make us smaller or weaker. It actually, it would be the whining about this isn't fair that would have made us smaller or weaker.
And that would bring out the worst in us. Of course, the whining, the complaining, the resentment. How dare he? Doesn't he? And so it's not this thing of like, let yourself get beat up upon, but you accept that the universe is delivering things to us. And then our teachers, who we go out of our way and choose, like I choosing this person to be my teacher and to rehabilitate my broken sense of self.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it becomes a very sweet thing.
Well, we saw that in the previous canto with Bali, right? Who was doing everything right. Vishnu came, take whatever you want. I'm going to give you, you only want 3 steps. I'll give you more. No, just 3. Okay, here's the 3 steps. Oh, you took the entire universe. Now he's getting tied up. Now he's being falsely accused. All he was doing was good. And he got blessed because he took that attitude. And it's so funny that you're saying this because, and you expressed it so well, actually, I think. But I was just in our conversations last night. Another thing about Indradyumna Swami is just like, it's like Krishna puts him in these places where special deities, special beads, special different things, are manifesting in his path all the time. And so he was telling us this story about how he was at the place where Narottam Das Thakur entered the river where Lord Nityananda himself had invested Krishna Prema. Were you with me, Raghunath?
I froze, so I'm
Okay.
turning
Should I
off
say
my
that again?
Wi-Fi.
Should I say that again?
Yes.
So Indradyumna Swami was saying he was at the place in what is now Bangladesh where Lord Nityananda invested in the water Krishna Prema, and Narottam Das Thakur bathed in that water, right?
Oh, and what's that? Katuri?
Keturi, yeah.
Katuri.
Yeah.
What river was
Katuri.
that, Mara? Whoa!
Padma, maybe?
I just get Mara. Did you get that? I just got Mara on the hot seat, and she got it. Say it, Mara.
Padma?
Padmavati.
Yeah.
Padmavati. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a tree right at that spot, and when he was there, a branch fell out of the tree. That tree witnessed, Lord Nityananda investing his prema there and Narottam receiving it. So he had a japa mala made out of those beads. And I shared this story with Indradyumna Swami, and everybody's all crowded around. I said, Maharaj, back when my guru was here and we went on the Navadvip Mandal Prikram, and of course he was on those Prikramas as well, so he knows the whole scene. And I said, the first morning of it, my guru hands me his bags and says, you stay right by my side. You don't leave my side for the next 9 days, because there's 9 days of walking and camping out, at all the different places. So he said, yeah, you take my bags, you don't leave my side. Now, in the bags of my guru were several sets of japa malas, right? Several sets of japa beads for counting the mantras. Among them was the set that he was given at his initiation by Srila Prabhupada in 1967, right? Oh. And so of course, my guru is known as like being someone that could, just with a glance, what to speak of his words, could just take the heart out of your chest and throw it for miles. And so I said, I can make a lot of mistakes in this life, and I will make a lot of mistakes in this life, and I'll make a lot of dumb mistakes in this life, and I'll make some big mistakes in this life, but there's one mistake I'm never going to make. I'm not going to lose my guru's initiation beads, because if I did, I might as well just tie a huge boulder to my neck and just throw it in the Ganga.
And jump in the Ganga, yeah.
Yeah, right. I am not going to lose this japa beads. So for 9 days, I always was aware of those japa beads. Either he has them or they're in this bag, down at the bottom of it, It was It was really firmly there in my awareness. And so then we were on this boat.
That would be the last job I would ever want.
So, but it was so rewarding at the same time. But in any case, so we were on a boat, and we would take this one, all over 1,000 devotees, all on boats going up the Ganga to Mamgachi, this beautiful holy place. And I'm sitting right next to him. It's it's the late morning. The sun is warming up. People are relaxing on the boats. My guru lies down to take a nap. I'm sitting right next to him, wide awake, alert, on top of everything. Like a loyal dog. And and then he wakes up, and he said, "Where are my beads?" Now I knew he had his beads, and in particular, he had the set that it was his initiation beads. I knew it. I had it all figured out. I knew it. He turns to me and says, "Where are my beads?" When he wakes up, and I said, "Gurudev, you have your beads." And then he looks around a little bit, doesn't find them. Then he turns around and looks at me. And, just that, it's like, okay, the heat is turning up. The heat is turning up big time. Right? He looks at me, and he looks at me, and I realize, I know that he has them. I know that I'm not responsible. I will not in any way give ground to give him, any reason to think that I might not be totally on top of this. So I just have to look him right back in the eye and say, Gurudev, you have your beads. You know? and, and then he looks around more. He still doesn't see them. The heat is increasing. And at that point, I'm realizing exactly what you said, Raghunath. I may go down for this. You know, like it may not be my fault. I may go down for this one. But if I do, I go down. You know, it's like I had done that before on smaller things, and this would be like the big one, you know. But then he looked another way, and one of his godbrothers held up his bead bag like this, and I was like, "Oh, thank you, thank you," you know.
Yeah.
But there were times where it really wasn't my fault, and you just accepted it. And you know what? You win the heart of your guru that way too. You just, you know, you don't. He'll see this person's here to serve. This person isn't here to enjoy, to build a reputation, to try to prove something. They're here to serve, and they've adopted the attitude of a servant, and that's appreciated. And to win the appreciation of your guru is really the goal of the disciple. And so we're hearing a story that this person had that attitude. What did it do? It gave him a peaceful mind, and it opened him up to deep levels of bhakti.
Getting chastised when you don't deserve it, and you realize, you know what? I probably deserved it somewhere down the line when I got away with something.
Yeah,
I'm just going to take it on. It actually makes you more empowered not to be this petty, you know, it's not fair type of student, disciple, whatever.
We got to root that out. We got to root out the victim mentality. We got to root out the this isn't fair. Yeah, you're right. So we hear a bit more here about
and sometimes it's not the guru correcting you. Sometimes it's somebody in a position that you respect, like a god brother of your guru, that you respect that position because they're elder, but they might just lose their cool, like in a very human way, lose their cool, and still we're just trained to take it.
Yeah. Next chapter, there's going to be a very interesting story. What? You know the one?
Go on. I'm gonna pass. I'll pass.
I was just saying the next chapter. We got a little lag going on, but the next chapter is going to be going to tell a story that speaks right to what we're talking about. A woman who was put in a very difficult circumstance because of a little mistake that she made. She was more or less given what would appear to be like a lifetime of just surrender, and she embraced it, you know. And we hear about the results of that as well. But we're still hearing about. But was there something you wanted to share?
I'll skip it. I had a personal story about getting ripped apart by a Swami for something I didn't do.
Oh, I remember you had some interesting story like that. I haven't heard it in a long time.
It's a good story. It's a good story. And I had just previously that morning been really chastised by my guru we were going to Govardhan Hill, and
You're getting it all day.
He never told me when to go. He never said when we were going. He just said, hey, we're going to go to Govardhan Hill. I was great. We're going to go to Govardhan. So I'm sitting around like just bathed in my underwear, and I'm like doing puja to a picture of Govardhan Hill, which I did every morning when I was a young man. And I just hear clip, clop, clip, clop, clip, clop. What are you doing? And I was like, what? He goes, we're going to Govardhan Hill. Everyone's in a bus except my one disciple.
Incompetent.
I think there's a few of those. And I just, I took that, but that was all right. So I started off my day on the wrong foot. So then there was this other Swami on the bus. So on the way back, there was an open window I was sitting against. And we had a small, like a mini bus. And I was sitting against an open window, and the Swamis were sitting across from me. And ahead of us, you could see a bunch of boys with like a measuring cup and a big bucket of red water. And every time a car came by, they took that measuring cup and threw it at the car. So if you were driving by there, you were going to get a measuring cup of red water thrown at your car. So this Swami gets up and he goes, hey, close the window. They're still throwing colors. Because different places in Braj, they stop throwing colors during Holi on certain days. So we are heading straight, our bus was heading straight towards these kids throwing colors. And so as soon as he said, close the window, I turned to close the window. but it was too late. They had thrown not just a cupful, they threw the entire bucket of red water. And I kid you not, I watched the water go past my face, miss everyone except that one Swami. And it hit that one Swami from head to toe, covered in red. And
Krishna.
there was nothing I could have done. He just said, and he got in front of everyone. He just stood up and he said, you jackass. I told you 3 times to close that window. And I thought to myself, you only told me once, and I did it, but I'm just going to just fold my hands and apologize. And I just apologized. I said, I'm in Vrindavan. I'm getting chastised. I'm just going to take this one.
Yeah. Take it for the team.
And you know what? I didn't lose. You don't lose for taking a humble
Right.
position. There's lots of times I didn't take the humble position. And at those times I probably lost because I'm not cultivating anything good inside myself. We talk about this prayer by Lord Chaitanya that we're constantly ready to give validation, give appreciation, but not wanting respect or not demanding respect. But we live in a world where we go to our partner, hey, I don't feel validated. I don't feel validated either. But it's like we're actually trying to get to this point where we are just ready to serve the devotees and be compassionate to those who are completely in illusion, not being like, look at those fools. Look at these fools just frolicking around the Ganga like it's just like like they're at Lake George. There's a sacred river. No, we're supposed to be compassionate to people who are in illusion, and we're supposed to serve those who are great devotees. And we're not going out and looking for respect. We're here to give respect. And that starts to remember what we actually are under. It's a costume, it's like, what do you call those? The costume party. Like we're at a costume shop and we're wearing layers and layers of egos and personas and costumes and false mustaches and false wigs and cloaks. They're all costumes. There's one real costume. There's one real being underneath the layers of costumes, and that is I'm an eternal spirit soul that's born to give love, that's born to give respect, not expecting anything back. Once I get that respect back, I generally embrace that respect. That becomes another layer of my costume. Oh, look at Raghunath, he's so insightful. Oh, look at Raghunath, he's so intelligent. Look at Raghunath, he's so charismatic. It just adds to my costume. I'm a servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the devotees is reality.
Raghunath, you're hitting the nail on the head just so nice there, because this is the verse from Sri Chaitanya that within our lineage we accept as, the Siddha Pranali, like our way to perfection is that we chant the holy name, but we're able to deeply absorb ourselves in it when we are tolerant and humble, when we're not concerned about receiving validation and respect ourselves, but we're totally ready to offer to others. And one way to test that, one way that you'll be tested on your way to sainthood is how are you able to respond, even you're being treated unfair sometimes. It'll bother you if you still are hanging on to the need for prestige. But if you've let go of the need for honor and prestige, even if it's happening publicly, you can accept it. It's not like, it's not the end of the world for you. You're solid because you've got a peaceful mind. If your mind's not peaceful, if you're still hankering for honor and for prestige, it's going to really bother you. But we can.
How dare you? Those words roll out of the mouth. How don't you know?
This isn't fair. We right off the bat, even though this is mostly just a listed lineage in this, we got a really nice lesson here. But I just realized we didn't go to Mara today for announcements.
Mara, you know what? She wants no respect. She's not looking for any validation. She's just a humble servant. She won't even stick up for herself when they're like, "Hey, this is my time during the show, guys. Like, I have a tiny moment in the show. You just steamrolled over me." Mara, what do you got? Besides, we're not doing announcements. We're not doing the show tomorrow because
really,
me and Mara are walking around Govardhan Hill.
No.
Just putting that out there right now.
Okay.
Kaustubha, I really felt like you needed a day off too. So sorry, guys.
So kind of
We're
you.
only at Govardhan for a couple days here, and we really
day is
need
today?
to do this.
Today's Tuesday.
What days? So we're taking Wednesday off and we're taking Friday off,
Yep.
if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep.
Then we're
That's
back
correct.
Saturday and Sunday.
Unless you want to do it Friday without me. With somebody else
I just
there.
got too much on my plate right now to
Okay,
try
there
to
you
pull
go.
something off. There we go. There we go. Yeah. So it's not just you.
So
It's,
not just
me
me.
now,
It's not
right?
just me. It's both of us. Okay.
All right. Should we, you ready for takeaways or you still want announcements?
Takeaways.
If
or
you got
announcements?
announcements, share them. Both. Do both.
Well, I did want to say, ask if people have checked out our Sage community platform because we've been dropping a whole
yeah.
bunch of new live classes there.
Yeah. What
so-
classes?
Kaustubha's been dropping all sorts of classes.
I
Where
haven't
is
been,
that?
but I'm about to.
He
I'll
hasn't
get
been.
on it
He's
now.
about to.
You know what?
Man, did
I'll
we-
take this day off tomorrow and I'll get it done.
There we go.
Okay, there you go. I gift that to you. You take that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're
Do
welcome.
you have any other gifts that I can work on?
Anyway, go to wisdomofthesages.com and you can become a supporting member of our Sage community platform. And there's all sorts of great classes and things there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a backlog
All right.
now.
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of stuff there. And you can also check out our calendar there where we update the calendar about our show schedule too.
Oh, I thought you meant
There you
like you
go.
get a free
Yeah,
calendar,
'cause-
like a picture of Raghu.
A calendar, a Raghu calendar. Who would put that on their wall? I want a list of everybody who put a Raghu calendar on their wall.
All right. You want some takeaways?
Please.
Yeah. What are some takeaways today, Mary?
Okay. In feelings of separation is the deepest connection and love.
Okay.
Okay.
You're reading the chat board, Raghu.
No, I'm not. I'm looking at the chalkboard. I'm not
You
reading
did,
it, though.
Raghunath. As soon as I was speaking, I was glorifying you for sharing such a deep insight. And you were just like reading the chat board. Is so obvious. It's like ridiculous.
You don't know that.
I do
Never
know that.
accuse things that you don't know because you did
I
the
know.
karma for that.
Become close to great devotees and it'll change the projection of your life.
That's right.
The victim mentality spoils everything.
Sure does.
This world is designed to bring us all suffering.
It's a great world.
You're such a pessimist.
We can become bitter or we can become better.
Choose it.
That's right.
You choose Kaustubha.
Okay.
Follow examples of those who transcend the victim mentality.
That's right.
Mhm.
Cultivate deep humility, simplicity, and kindness.
Be the victor, not the victim, Mara.
You can't blame or resent your way to a better tomorrow.
Ooh, yeah.
Accept your karma for a peaceful mind.
I saw 4 blue cows today.
I saw a herd of 14 when I was there last.
Oh.
Up,
I saw 16. I saw 16 the year before. I milked one. I milked a blue cow.
I gave
Blue
birth
milk came
to
out.
a blue cow. Okay. With my mind.
I rode one.
Adapt the attitude of the servant.
Then one rode me.
You don't lose by taking a humble position.
That's right.
Road rage
gotta-
says I am a blue cow.
And
And I am a blue cow.
root out the "it's not fair" mantra.
It's not
Look at
fair,
that.
Kaustubha.
It's not fair that
Oh.
you saw more blue cows than me.
It's not fair that I am a blue cow. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Oh, it's getting exciting here at Govardhan Hill with the blue cows, the big
Joey
Maharaskulas.
invented the blue cow.
Don't be a rascal. Eat a raskula. That's our takeaway today. Thanks. Hannah Brinkhouse is here. Laura Wright's here. Verity. Hey, Verity. Good to see you. Thanks, everybody, joining us. I didn't get to say good morning. If you join us live, I will say good morning to you. Chapu, good to see you again. Hope you're feeling better. Now Yvette's got her camera on. Cabrera G, Road Rage. Oh, Road Rage. We got to talk. Chief Lori, we got to talk.